Hello, here we are again. With me now is Antonella Sorace, who is Professor of Developmental Linguistics at the University of Edinburgh in the UK and visiting Professor at the University of Tromsø, Norway. Antonella, thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you.
My first question is, some people may feel that bilingualism might pose a threat to local cultures and languages. What's your view on this?
I think it's actually exactly the opposite.
Right.
Bilingualism is very good to maintain local cultures. If you look at minority languages, for example, they're all worth maintaining because obviously linguistic diversity is good from a cultural point of view. But research on bilingualism has discovered that minority languages can actually give benefits to the brain. So there is an extra reason to maintain minority languages, all minority languages, it doesn't matter which ones, particularly if a child learns them together with the community language. So both the community language and the minority language, this is two languages in the same brain. And having two languages in the same brain gives lots of cognitive benefits to children.
Right. Very interesting.
Yes.
Because sometimes when we think of bilingualism, or at least in Europe maybe, when we think of bilingualism, we take it for granted that the second language will be English.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know. There tends to be two kinds of bilingualism, sort of prestigious bilingualism and less prestigious bilingualism. From the point of view of the brain, this distinction doesn't make sense. There are no useless languages or useful languages. Any languages in the brain can give these benefits if children and then adults continue to use them on a regular basis. So there is no foundation to thinking that bilingualism is good only if it involves languages like English.
Right. Now, Antonella Sorace is also the founder of the Information and Advice Center Bilingualism Matters. Antonella, what kind of advice do people ask you for?
All kinds of advice, because we operate with different kinds of people. We work with families a lot, and families at all levels of education. So families who want or are thinking of exposing their child to a second language during childhood. Immigrant families whose children come, for example, to the UK speaking a different language and have to learn English. And these families often feel under pressure to abandon their home language because they think their home language is an obstacle. And we try to persuade them that it's actually the opposite. If they keep their home language, their child might learn English faster and integrate more easily. And we also deal with minority languages. In Scotland, it's mostly Gaelic, although there is Scots as well. But in Italy, it could be Sardinian or others. And so all minority languages can't survive if they're not learned by children. So bilingualism is functional to the maintenance of minority languages, but minority languages are a wonderful opportunity for children to grow up with the benefits of bilingualism. So we deal with all these groups of people, and the questions tend to be largely the same. Will my child get confused between the two languages? Is it too much to learn two languages for a young child? Wouldn't it be better if one language is learned first and then another one only later when a child is secure in or feels safe in the first language? So these are the most common questions that we get asked. Yes.
Now, you'll get all the answers to these questions if you watch our video from the TESOL Macedonia-Thrace and TESOL conference this year, where Antonella Sorace was one of our plenary speakers. I'd like to ask you, Antonella, one more question. You mentioned earlier that if if a child maintains their first language, then it will be easier to integrate into the community, into the new community, into a foreign country maybe. They are if the child comes from an immigrant country. How is that? I mean, usually we believe the opposite.
Well, I can speak particularly from a linguistic point of view. Obviously, if a child maintains their home language, first of all, they can maintain their links with their culture, and this is very important. And it's their roots. And if they keep their language and learn English, and there's English or the country of the language of the country, the community language. Then they can grow up with two languages, and I think that they will feel more secure, as well as cognitively more better able to deal with both social integration and linguistic integration. So this is a myth that we have to dispel. That languages brought in by immigration are an obstacle. They should be seen as a resource.
Right.
So it's a complete change of attitude that we need.
Yes, completely.
Yes.
A revelation, I think. Right. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Thanks.